thanks for Media Watch with James Creedon. Good evening, James.
Hi, Delano.
We're starting out with Iowa that has set Twitter ablaze, quite literally.
Well, if you look at some of the images online, the fact that the results, there was such a kerfuffle and such a confusion over the results, had people going on social media, going on Twitter and sharing images such as this one. Waking up to check on the Iowa caucus results. And, you have an image of somebody coming home to the house on fire, basically. It did indeed get a little bit out of hand. So this was sort of, if you like, a little to get a taste of what voters in Iowa would think of the various candidates in the Democratic Party. It was a litmus test, if you like. Emma Thatcher had written, "My Iowa caucus prediction is that someone will win." And this was before the whole thing kicked off. She then corrected herself by saying, whoops. So I think a lot of people just found the whole thing catastrophically disorganized and a huge amount of cacophony. And as you can see here, another image. Iowa Democrats this morning. Nothing to see here. Mm-hmm. The whole thing, it seemed rather disastrous. This is how it's been summed up in one tweet. Tweets can be helpful sometimes in their succinctness. A tale of three campaigns. Joe Biden apparently underperformed and questioned the final Iowa caucus result. Buttigieg, how is that correctly pronounced? I don't
know how to. So I can't help you there.
Buttigieg arrogantly claimed victory with no proof, and Bernie was transparent with data and was gracious despite the epic Iowa Democratic Party fail. So that's how it's sort of broken down by one person. Now, really, Mayor Pete, as he's known, the 30-something up-and-coming sort of candidate, Pete Buttigieg, he claimed victory, and a lot of people were saying, well, hold on a minute, how can you claim victory when the results aren't out?
Yeah.
What information are you privy to that we're not privy to? So you had a whole sort of array of comments such as this one. The only thing that shocked the nation, because he said that Iowa, you have shocked the nation in his tweet announcing he'd won, is how disorganized the caucus were, and the fact that there are still no results. So either you know something that we don't, or you are lying. So he got a huge amount of negative, I suppose, comment online. He's known as Mayor Pete, and he became known as Mayor Cheat. People even thinking that the results had been rigged. So the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, already weakened in terms of its credibility after the Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders sort of
hacking in
2016. So this doesn't help. So some of those images not coming up. There are people putting up images of the Joker with the hashtag Mayor Cheat. So he definitely came in for an awful lot of rap. Mayor Pete declaring victory with no reported results. Quality control for the whole process. Again, more flames, and some people suggesting that Count Von Count of Sesame Street fame could be sent in to help out the poor DNC in Iowa, who just clearly weren't able to count.
That poor app. Seriously, technology, I tell you, can't do anything. Anyway,
yes.
Now, obviously, Bernie Sanders fans are not happy with what's going on.
That's it. So they really felt that that there was some sort of desire behind the scenes to cover up a big wave of support for Bernie Sanders, that he's not the preferred choice for the Democratic nomination. And so, there was a lot of mistrust online, and there were tweets sort of inferring that the people who wanted to pick him in the whole caucus process were sort of being given short shift. So again, lots of memes going up about that. Bernie, after not getting results back from the Iowa caucuses and just looking kind of upset. This whole Iowa caucus debacle was because Biden did so poorly and Bernie won. So these were the conspiracy theories, if you like, going up online, that Bernie had actually won. Now, we'll see what the results in the end are. It's to obfuscate those facts. If Democrats think they can pull this and expect unity at the end, I have an original Jimi Hendrix guitar worth $4 million to sell them, which obviously she doesn't have. So this whole thing, there was a voting app which was counting everything up. It was developed by a company called Shadow Inc., which obviously doesn't help people have a lot of trust in the
doesn't
transparency.
Sound shady. At least it was called Shady Inc. So.
Right. It just doesn't sound very good. They should really find a better name for it. So, and then there were people saying that there were links between the Buttigieg campaign and the people who developed this app. So a lot of really people there was a lot of distrust coming through online. Even people who'd been associated with the Hillary Clinton campaign, such as Robbie Mook, who was the campaign manager for the Clinton campaign in 2016, they took to Twitter saying, I had nothing to do with building this Iowa caucus app, because there was suspicion that they had been. Anyway, some people saying, look, people are getting carried away once again with conspiracy theories online. The Iowa caucus is run by old white volunteers. What's more likely, that they rigged the entire primary, or that they had trouble with an app? So, there was quite a degree of mistrust.
And very quickly, James, Donald Trump has responded to this whole fiasco.
He has, but just to zero in on what some of his people in Iowa were saying about this, Delana, because there was a lot of, obviously the Trump campaign were very eager to kind of keep the attention on how strong their campaign and united their campaign is, in the sense that there is no effort to choose the nominee who's already been chosen. But actually it does seem that Bernie Sanders is the one that they would be most concerned about. This is one quote in a BuzzFeed article. If you pick one candidate right now, the passion of Bernie Sanders is concerning, says Republican Mark Meadows, a representative, and he said Joe Biden's moderate policy, Mike Bloomberg's money, Pete Buttigieg's more direct policy conversations, that's not seen as much of a challenge. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, his followers are more of a concern to me than anybody else. They have a passion, and in a way they tap into what Donald Trump tapped into, but they do it on the left. It's an anti-establishment, we want to mix things up kind of environment. So you see, that feeds into then the conspiracy theory that Bernie Sanders would be the natural candidate, yet he's being kept back.
Interesting. We'll see what happens once the results are announced in a couple of hours' time. James, thank you very much for that. James Creedon there.